welcome back to Mega Man X6. Okay, so... the cleanup episodes are not usually my favorites. Cause, you know, when you're at the end of the game, sometimes you're just, like, not in the biggest mood to just go back to previous stages and find a bunch of missing things. You know, some games can make that work, but in Mega Man X it's usually just... because I did not specifically go out of my way to route plan, I just have a bunch of stages to revisit and just do a few things in. But you know, usually the extent of that is, it's just a little tedious to have to quickly go through all the stages for one episode. But X6 has made me dislike the game even more after having done cleanup. This stage isn't terrible. Fine, we're more or less going to do the same things we did the first time around, just picking up, I think a few extra wolves, it is. Which, by the way, there is a specific naming theme, maybe for other stages, but, it is perhaps the most noticeable for, the North Pole area, because all of the rescuable Reploids are named after Capcom characters, which is neat. I don't recognize everybody on the full list, but, like, you've got some obvious ones. Also, that rescuable Reploid is super rude. But yeah, you've got, like, you've got Ryu, you've got Chun. I think there's a Charlie on there, which is a little more obscure, but I remember that guy from Cannon Spike, so I know about that one. There's one that's not quite Morrigan, but it's, like, spelled similarly enough that it's like, okay, yeah, that's Morrigan Darkstalkers. And there's even a Dante on the list, which, this is a PS1 game, but the PS2 was out, and so was Devil May Cry, which I believe was released in, I looked it up earlier, I think Devil May Cry was released August 2001, and this game was released November 2001, so that was a really recent reference when that hit. Guessing whoever was on translation team probably knew about that game. Either for having worked on it, or, you know, just buzz about The Office. Either which way, though, yeah, I think that's neat. I don't know, I kinda think that's neat that they snuck that in there. Anyway, here's the another area. So, I thought another area was okay as a concept at first, but, I don't really like the concept of splitting all of the, collectibles throughout the game the way they did here. Now, it's not entirely on another area, sometimes levels are just built so, even ignoring the another area, you kinda have to do them more than once to get everything, and I think that's bad. I'm not fond of that. Oh hey, there's Dante. And Ryu from Streets. But yeah, no, like, some of the levels are just designed around that, even without another area, and quite frankly, I think it's kind of annoying. Anyway, here's the incomplete Shadow Armor, so it just looks like normal X, but trust me, we've got some Shadow Armor here. So the main thing about Shadow Armor is the boots prevent you from being killed by spikes, much like the Gaia Armor from the previous game. And of course, also, like the Gaia Armor, the Shadow Armor is unable to use any of these, boss weapons. Also, what's up? Yeah, I know. Why are you telling me this for this guy? Okay, I found secret ones before, Alia. Like, why are you tutorializing this here of all places? Like, I need some special shit to be able to do that one. Like the ability to just Castlevania jump to the ceilings. I don't understand the reasoning of putting that there. Anyway, the jumper chip also helps. If you have that, it helps in general over here. And now I'm showing off this area, though That being said, if I'm remembering correctly, we won't be visiting the another area in this one. I don't think it has anything in it, and if I'm wrong, oh well, I guess I missed something on cleanup. I'm sorry, while cleaning this up, my mind is preoccupied only with the disdain I hold for a certain other stage. That took up a lot of my time trying to do the damn cleanup. I'm not terribly fond of that one. You might be able to guess what it is, I don't know. Either way, here's the last guy we need to rescue, and there's the list with no abilities on it, cause yep, even incomplete Shadow Armor just says, no, you're not allowed to have fun. You're not allowed to use boss weapons. And just wait until you see what Shadow Armor actually has for weapons. It's, certainly a decision. So, here's where I stopped, at the end of the first night, where I did cleanup. It's Central Museum. So this one I save scummed until I found this new room that we hadn't seen before. Now, the nice thing is, if you haven't spoken to Alia in one of these areas, or if you haven't visited the area, then you will still get the bit of dialogue there. Even if you've already completed the stage, so you know where you have not been to if X is like, hey Alia, you there? No? Okay. Also, yeah, that's Nightmare Metal or whatever. Oh, nope, you're not getting that guy. It is very annoying. It impedes your progress a lot in this stage, but, you know the nice thing? I absolutely saved Scum to see, if any of the other rooms would be useful, and they were not. They absolutely were not, so I'm not going to do them. Nightmare Metal was only a minor inconvenience, but trust me, it appears in the more annoying rooms as well. Also, we saved home. Go us. Alright, so here's day 2 of me doing this shit. This is where I initially was going to continue doing Central Museum, because I wanted that stage out of the way, until I realized, wait, no, that stage does not have Shadow Armor parts. I should probably complete the Shadow Armor before I get to endgame, because I'm gonna level with you, I'm not gonna want to use Shadow Armor in the long run. So another thing it does is it sticks to walls, which I'm not going to say is useless. It has some niche uses. If you want to just stay on the wall and fire from a single point, you can do that. The problem is, I have adjusted to the way X games work, and the fact that, like, yeah, no, I'm going to move when I'm on a wall normally, so I'm going to adjust that for shooting, and I'm gonna be honest, I feel like it also helps me dodge. It keeps me from just staying in place for far too long. Also, here's where I remembered, oh yeah, I've gotta blow up those stupid little tiny things. I saw that over there, I'm like, oh right, there's one over there. Anyway though, yeah, like, I feel like I prefer the way an X game normally works, where I'm just moving on a wall and I have to accept that. Otherwise, it's just kind of annoying when you're trying to do normal platforming, and X just glues himself to a wall for a moment, just kind of interrupting your momentum. Because you were trying to do something else, but nope. X said it's wall time. God, I really hate having to deal with those enemies, and I have no way of dealing with them. Other than to just shoot them normally. Cause it's Shadow Armor, baby. Shadow Armor, baby, you drive me crazy. And I'm kinda glad this stage just auto-damages you, because it means I already have the excuse of, technically, this isn't a no-hit run, cause I'm taking damage, clearly. Though if I remember correctly, this doesn't actually count towards the, results of a stage, which makes sense. It would be kinda bullshit if they had a gimmick that forced you to take damage, and then at the end said, oh yeah, here's how much damage you took that you couldn't possibly avoid. But then again, damage taken doesn't matter in this game, it's only souls, so I guess what would they care either? Maybe it's to give you the illusion of needing to, keep your damage low. You know, you might become disillusioned with this whole system if you start taking damage and it shows in the results screen. Certainly I didn't get disillusioned, taking damage here and just decide fuck it later. To be fair, that has more to do with the stage that'll actually crop up in and not this one. This stage I'm just kinda whatever on at this point, honestly. Also, apparently you can get over here, without the Shadow Armor, which makes sense, because, this is Shadow Armor. Which, it didn't actually hit me that that was the case, but... I'm gonna be honest, that's kinda bullshit. Like... Obviously, Shadow Armor just negates the challenge here. It is no longer an obstacle, it's just a floor you can walk across if you have the boots. But you can't get the complete Shadow Armor unless you dash across it, so you can't actually walk over spikes to do that, unless you're playing this hack. Which... I can't imagine doing that dash twice over. I mean, if I put my mind to it more, I actually probably could've. I have done some stupid jumps in the X series before. I have looked at something and decided, yeah, no, that's worth doing now. Like Wheelgator in X2. I sure did decide to get the capsule there on my first go. Maybe it speaks to just how I'm feeling on this game that I didn't bother. I don't want to do the tricky jump, don't make me. Either way though, yeah, it's also a huge risk to just go after the rescuable Reploids repeatedly through those spike platforms, so... I feel like it's definitely just a good idea to play this hack in general, so... Therefore, the advice of just wait until you get the Shadow Armor's boots is fine. You're allowed to do that first here. Alright, with that, we've got another piece of the Shadow Armor, but it's not done yet. We got... is that Matt or Mayo? I can't tell. Or Mao, sorry. Ooh, Hyper Dash, nice. And Saber... oh, that's just damage up for the Z-Saber, that's good. Man, we're starting to get the parts that I actually really like. So, you know... it's kinda nice. I'm excited about something in this game, it's kind of nice. Anyway, though, that was like the best experience I had in this session of playing X6 and doing the cleanup. This stage, of course, was a pain in the ass, because we gotta fight the fucking wheel again. Thankfully, we don't have to fight all of the wheels in the stage. In fact, technically, we don't need to fight any more than... I want to say 2 wheels. Though considering the progress I've made in this stage, and you probably would as well, it's more than 2 wheels, technically. God. I think, to be fair, the first wheel is probably the worst. I feel like a lot of the other wheels are actually made a little bit easier by their rooms, or at the very least, they're a little bit faster. This one's kinda just slow because it's like, it's going back and forth in a room, and you don't really have good spots to get it from. Especially the bottom left zit, and god damn it, it's the Nightmare Fly. Okay, so I'll make fun of the name Nightmare Fly, but I honestly hate those little bastards. They don't do much is the thing. They fly outside of your range, and the only time they're really going to damage you is when they fly in, which is incredibly annoying, but, you know. Technically the only time they can actively damage you. However, they are very solid targets, so hitting them will stop your shots completely, in most cases. I don't know, maybe there's an exception to that, maybe there's a weapon that bypasses that. I wouldn't know now because I'm using Shadow Armor. But... They're basically just around to suck up your shots, so that you can't hit other things, and as you might imagine, that has a lot more annoying uses in this stage. And honestly, one of the worst parts of it is it doesn't actually blow up when you kill it, it just leaves. Like, that motherfucker is so smug, just rolls in, prevents you from hitting the things that are actively trying to kill you, possibly even hitting you on the way in. And then they have the raw nerve to not even die at the end. They have the raw nerve to fuck off. And like, they're not even hurrying off is the other worst part about it. The worst part of the worst part. Like, they just saunter off. They're not afraid of you, they're amused by you. That's it, that's the extent of the emotions they feel over X or Zero. Frankly, it's insulting. Okay, so, because I can't actually go up, our next destination is the bottom floor, which has a fly and a mini-boss, which are incredibly annoying. I did try to fight these guys. Here's the thing, though. In this take, I didn't, because I don't need to. That's the last rescuable Reploid on this route, so we're done there. So, yeah, here we go, got KG, which means we get Ultimate Buster, very nice. And now we're bringing the Blade Armor into this. Anyway, I don't want to fight these guys again, so fuck it, we're skipping the battles. Look, I'm tired of the stage. I was tired out of the stage after I finished it the first time. I'm tired of it now. I will say, this is probably one of my favorite tracks in the game. Like, they just start shredding and they just keep going and don't stop, and I respect that. Like, this is a very high-energy track, which I will be honest, is more than you can say about a lot of songs in this game. A lot of them are kind of low energy, and not even in an interesting way. But no, they look at the name Blaze Heatniks and we're like, okay, yeah, that's a cool-ass name. Better make a good song for that one. And they did. You know, it's weird. I kind of associate the Shadow Armor, skipping this one too, with mobility. But Blade Armor, which has the name Blade in it, has really a better mobility option. Like, this is better than Shadow Armor's ability to leap up and maybe cling to the ceiling if it's there. Now, granted, that one does look cooler than this one does, but Blade Armor doesn't slouch either. Alright, so Shadow Armor Buster, what's that one do? So, it's a bit of a scatter shot, and also, it can charge even the Z-Saber. Now, you might be thinking that will make it so that you can charge the Z-Saber on the usual Z-Saber button. Not so. We will see how this works in a little bit. But yeah, no, not only is this one called the Blade Armor, but it has mobility options unlike the Shadow Armor. Shadow Armor gets a blade attack. It gets an upgrade to the Z-Saber, so you charge it. You'd think that would be with the Blade Armor as well, but whatever. I guess they wanted to dole these things out, but they still prevent you from using boss weapons with Shadow Armor, so one is still distinctly better than the others. Alright, so thankfully we don't need to do too much in this another area because it's mildly annoying. Thankfully, I will say, it's not based on fighting even more of the wheel. As far as I remember, this is a wheelless zone. However, we do have Nightmare Flies, which suck. But they're not too bothersome when that's our obstacle. Just the Pillars of Flame. And this is all I need, so I'm getting the fuck out of here. Bye, nerds! Alright, so we are at 20 minutes, and there is about 7 minutes left of this fucking video. Can you guess what stage we're going to now? We have the Shadow Armor complete. There's only one stage we have left to cover. It's time for 7 fucking minutes of the Central fucking Museum. Okay, I'm gonna level with you, this might be one of my least favorite stages in the X series after having to do this shit. First and foremost, the Shadow Armor. So, I didn't want to say it before, but yes, it's kind of, it is very much supposed to be reminiscent of a ninja, so we have Ninja X, and design-wise, it looks cool as hell. In terms of actually using it though, yeah, aforementioned sticking to walls is not my favorite thing. I don't really like the spread shot that much. It's not, like, underpowered, it actually does decent damage for a spread shot. But I don't know, it's just weird to use. I think that goes back to the other thing I said about the wall jumps. Like, I don't know. I don't care about changing wall jumps. I kind of like them how they are in the X series. I might like a character that controls like this in a different game, but yeah, no, I just do not like how X feels in this game. Like, if I wanted to be more sword-focused, I'd play as Zero. Anyway, yeah, I skipped that, cause fuck having to repeat all of these. Also, you may have noticed, that I did stop giving a shit about taking damage, because A, I've already played this, I played this the previous day, when I was doing, cleanup stuff. But B, I spent a while save scumming, trying to get sections I haven't been to in the first zone, so I wouldn't have to repeat anything. Here's the problem. I did not find this, anywhere, like, in any guides or anything. I might not have looked hard enough, but, like, I never noticed that I don't think it's actually possible to access certain areas, from the first pillar. Which... I feel like is mostly done because some of X's dialogue does basically just say that, like, yeah, he's been to rooms before, so therefore that can't be the first room, but I don't care about that. I wish they hadn't done that. And, yeah, no, it meant I did have to play the stage multiple times, doing areas I'd already done before, trying to figure out, is this the seed where I'm able to find something new? And oftentimes the answer was no. So I had to play this stage again and again and again, and goddamn, you can't make that the dialogue, guys. You cannot... Okay, look. I'm not saying that you cannot make the character frustrated in a game. However, it does run the risk of, if you have a particularly badly done stage, that it's just reflective of the shit the player has to do. I do not want Zero mirroring my experience of being fucking miserable in Central Museum. Like, that's not charming, that's not cute. I am, in fact, just kind of disgruntled about the whole thing. Look, if my hero Zero does not like being in this museum, why the fuck would I want to go to the museum more than 3 goddamn times? Again, I had so many goddamn takes every time, including several ones that were just doomed from the beginning because, again, certain areas just cannot appear in the first pillar. So until I realized that and decided to brush off the definition of insanity, I was doing the stage fruitlessly. Which again, is why I stopped giving a shit about taking damage. I just could not bring myself to care anymore. I hate Central Museum. In the first place, I did not like its obstacles. I thought the theme was okay. The music I was alright with at first, but, the more I listen to it, the less I like it. That could just be because of the amount of exposure I've had to it. You know, I'm weary of it for hearing it so much, but, I feel like it actually does not really convey tone. It just sounds kind of weird the more I listen to it. Been transported again? I was in a virtual area already! What is this fucking stupid stage? You can't have characters be frustrated at your bad level design. Again, completely accidental. Like, it's not like the designers went in thinking like, okay, we made this level bad on purpose, so we're going to have the characters mention how bad the level is. No, it makes sense in the context of the game, why they're complaining, but nonetheless, it's just... It really sets the mood, but they would not want the mood set like this, I assure you. Alright, well, thankfully not all 7 minutes were actually Central Museum, but 5 minutes were Central Museum, and I resent that. I resent this entire stage. Again, I think this is one of my most hated stages in an X game. Or maybe any Mega Man game. Like, of course there were ones I didn't like in Classic Series, but god. It could just be because I'm fresh off of it. Like, I did this last night. Mega Man X6 fucked up my sleep schedule last night. But... fuck me, I hate this stage. Again, I'm pretty sure I got all the items, but if I didn't, I don't care. I did rescue all of the Reploids that are in this hack. Once again, I'm so thankful for this hack. It has improved my experience with X6 immensely. Because, god, imagine if I had to find even more Reploids. I would despise life itself, and then I would become a JRPG final boss. But yeah, no. For as little as I have liked Mega Man X6, this hack is the definitive experience, which is... saying a lot. Says a lot about society, if you think about it. Anyway, we'll just assume all those missing Reploids are fine, actually. Next time, Gates Lab.